It's August 30th, 2023. Jeremy and I are going to go settle things in the ring.
Joel, you wanna step outside? You wanna go outside, Joel?
I want to fight you so bad.
Let's step outside, Joel. If you want to do this, we can step outside.
No, we're going to settle this in the ring.
You got something to say? Do you have something to say, Joel?
I do, actually. Hi, welcome to In the Weeds. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on Fightful Overbooked, 10 a.m. until noon. That's what we do. I'm at Joel Pearl, and of course, Jeremy Lambert is here, and we're going to fight. That's the whole plan of today's show. There's nothing else to talk about, so we're just going to fight. How are we going to fight? I don't know. We live in different countries, so clearly something has to work. Jeremy, we can load up Parsec and play some old video games for old time's sake.
Dude, that sounds fun, actually. That sounds a lot better than what we're probably going to do today, which is talk about stuff that we didn't see and we will never see. And what we should do, Joel? Let's just no comment on this. You know what? People want to talk. Oh, let's hear about what do you have to say about old CM Punk and Jack Perry. Can't discuss that. Something happened. It's currently being reported on, and when everything is being everything comes out, the reports are final, maybe we can discuss that. But for right now, we cannot discuss that. And we have a great show for everybody today, right here on Fightful Overbooked, In the Weeds, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Thank you guys for your support in making this show one of the best shows that we have ever done. Otherwise, we will not comment on it. We are suspending the conversation of CM Punk and Jack Perry.
We spent all of Monday morning downplaying this so that we could talk about All In. And you know what? We were successful. We had a great time. And then all the news came out, and suddenly it was like, well, all of Monday was for naught. At least we got to talk about the show, the things we enjoyed and didn't. And you know what? There were people in the comments who were talking about their live experience and refuting, what we had to say. And that's fine. Like, I want to bring this up because this is something that's really cool about watching wrestling live versus on TV, is that like, it's a completely different experience. And I'd say most of the time you're having a blast in the arena live, watching it, experiencing it. It's a completely different beast. So if you have a good time there, all the power to you. What translates on TV doesn't always hit the same. So I think it was really cool that we got to have the conversation that you and I had. And then, some people in the comments being like, yeah, I was there, but it felt different. And that's fine. I'm glad when it does. I'm glad when you have more fun at the show. That's what it's all about. You paid more than we did for the experience. So I hope you get your money's worth.
I agree. I don't know where that came from. Who was mad about the live experience? Don't read the comments, Joel.
I wouldn't say mad. I don't think anyone was mad. I just think people kind of, pushed back and said I was there live. And as they were hearing us talk about what we thought, yes. Oh, no.
You know what you should do when they push back, Joel? You should put them in a chokehold.
I gotta ask if they want to take it outside.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doxing myself, giving them my home address. No. The point was like no one was being a dick. It was just people like pushing back and being like, I was there live and this was cool and I had a lot of fun watching this, and like you guys saw it this way, I saw it this way. That's fine. Honestly, that kind of those comments, I'm all for it. If you disagree with us, it's one thing. If you're just a dick to someone in the comments just for being a dick, well, then you're Ryan from Mark Order Pod.
Ryan's great. We love Ryan.
I get
fantastic. I actually can't stand anybody in our chat. Our chat's awful. Send us money, everyone.
But do leave a thumbs up here on the channel and subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. For some reason, there are certain bots that love us because we shot up in subscriptions yesterday.
Yeah, what happened? Maybe people did create a bunch of YouTube accounts to just subscribe. That's what you told everybody to do, Joel. So
I did do that. It's true. And also, you can donate a super chat any amount, get your question statement read on the air, and the money goes to people not named Joel, Jeremy, or Kate. So that's always helpful. A lot of really good content on this channel that above what we do. So go and donate, get your question statement read on the air. We can talk about a lot of stuff. We're gonna have to talk about it because now, unfortunately, it's become news that CM Punk and Jack Perry were both suspended from AEW. It's not.
Does CM Punk know about this?
Depends who you ask. If you ask Nick Housen, he's like, yeah, he's known about it for months. He's been suspended for months and he knew about it. So I don't know where you guys didn't hear from the anyway. Oh, Nick. God bless. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
I got breaking news,
Oh,
Joel
okay.
Pearl.
I love it. Let's hear it.
I have found the reason for why our subscriptions might have gone up.
Oh no.
The wife has she knows more about this stuff than I do. She said Sean posted to win to watch All Out, subscribe to Overbooked. So it appears Sean is trying to boost our subscriptions by giving away All Out. So that is why apparently our subs have gone up. Thank you to Sean Ross Sapp, and thank you to the wife for being on top of the news more than I am. She's so much better at my job than I am. It's very sad.
How did
And I'm really good at it too.
how did nobody tell us about this?
And Sean just does stuff. He doesn't tell us anything. I mean, in fairness, we just do stuff and don't tell him. So
There it is.
yeah.
There it is. Watch All Out for free. We're giving away a pay-per-view purchase of All Out this weekend. Retweet this post. You know what? I'm going to retweet it right now. And go ahead. Subscribe to us here on the channel, and you could win an opportunity to watch All Out for free this weekend. How about that?
Yeah, I guess I should like retweet this and try to boost our own subs as well. I saw it. Here's the thing: when Sean does these like giveaway things, I don't read it because I'm just like, oh, whatever. Like I'm not eligible to win, so like I scroll right past it and don't read the fine print on there. So maybe I should start to read the fine print on it, and maybe I would have seen that. Oh, this is why our subs have gone up. I like that bots just hit our channel better. Instead, we got to give Sean credit for this. That's no fun.
Fine. Happy birthday, Sean.
Oh yeah,
that's making us do subscription contests that work really well.
I assume that he will show up at some point. He showed up on FMC yesterday for no real reason.
I assume kind of making up for the lost day where he was in the air.
Maybe, but you know, he was trying to come in on a Tuesday and he had the eggs. I was like, we don't do that here on Tuesday, pal. That's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. You know, things don't work like that here on Tuesdays. But if he doesn't show up, I know he's going to be on a Post Wrestling later on today. And we were supposed to have Andrew Thompson from Post Wrestling today, but he had travel stuff. He was in London for All In, and he, like everybody who was seemingly in London, got set back because of the travel. So he's now scheduled to join us on Friday. Sadly, everybody is stuck with us, just us, for 2 hours today. That's that's unfortunate for everyone. And I do sincerely, I hope people like us enough that they're tuning in. But I've said many times, like, I like having guests on the show. I like having the variety on the show instead of just us two for 2 hours. So I do sincerely apologize that we're doing 2 straight shows without a guest. We reached out to people, either couldn't work with schedules or we just didn't hear back from them. That's how it goes sometimes. And some stuff was short notice, but yeah, I do apologize that it's just us for this week, for 2 shows. Hopefully next week we'll kind of get back on track with having some guests and whatnot.
Nobody likes us.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like people like us, but
they just don't like the time that we're on.
Yeah, like I think people like us. Sometimes it's just I message people late because plans change as we like. I didn't know Andrew was gonna change up until a little bit later in the afternoon, and by the time I sent messages, people make plans and stuff. So what can you do about that? Send the link to TK. I mean, I can. I don't think he's gonna come on here, but I can.
So I went back for a second at the All In post presser, and I saw the announcement of Penta versus
that's the best.
And TK's just holding the belt, just like,
dude, he
just stone face, no reaction.
Someone like turned him off or something, and then they that's what it looked like. It was very he was just right there, just standing there, eyes wide open. And then finally, after like they do their stare down, he like blinks and moves and stuff. I give him credit for going like that stiff for that period of time, because I could not do it. Tony rules honestly. Like I don't like make fun of him. I do my Tony Khan impression and everything, but I legitimately think Tony is fantastic. And like he gives, for good and bad, he gives a lot of content, but I don't think any, unlike other people who have run a wrestling company, there's never been anything about Tony that has been like malicious or, taking advantage of people in ways that are illegal. So Tony's Tony, but I don't actually have as a human anything bad to say about him. He brings a lot of fun content. Bless Tony.
Yeah, you know what? Like again, my one scathing criticism of Tony isn't even a scathing criticism. It's give me a bottle of water when I go into your press conference. That's all. But like as I think honestly, and that's on. What's funny is I'm about to say like he's a giving human. He's a kind person. Like he really does care about this stuff. Like I will put that first and foremost. Like he very much wants to see his company be a success. Of course, there's a financial gain to that, but like he also really just loves the wrestling that he wants to put on and that he's showcasing and the talent. He cares about the talent for better or for worse. However you feel about the businessman versus the man himself, he cares, and I think that is both that's a benefit and a detriment to the person running the show. So yeah, it's just it is what it is. I think in some cases he's misunderstood just in the way that he communicates, because that's not always easy. I think Sean was talking yesterday about like picking your words and the way you answer questions or make a statement. There is levity in your words, and not levity. There's an importance in your words. So something to keep up and think about. Let's get a couple of super chats and some bits over on twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. Cyclops Better Than Logan says Sean Ross Sapp is the CM Punk of Fightful. Jeremy Lambert is the Ryan Nemeth confirmed. Jeremy, is that true? Are you Ryan Nemeth? Are you only allowed on non-collision shows?
Dude, if I got much more gigs than Ryan Nemeth right now.
Oh. Well, he's on the picket lines. Be nice to Ryan Nemeth.
I got nothing bad to. I don't know Ryan Nemeth. I don't watch BTE regularly or anything. All I'm saying is Ryan Nemeth is very low on the AEW totem pole. I don't think that's unfair to say in any capacity. And whether I always like it or not, I'm very high on the Fightful totem pole. So I don't think I'm Ryan Nemeth. If Sean is CM Punk, who does that make me? If Sean is CM Punk, I don't know if Sean's CM Punk. I think that's kind of mean to say about Sean. Yeah, that's meaner than calling me Ryan Nemeth.
Right I don't think Sean threatens to fight people.
No, I do.
He does. It's you. You're CM Punk.
Yeah, I threaten to fight Sean every single day.
What if Sean is Samoa Joe?
Oh, Sean Samoa Joe, that's good. I'm probably closer to CM Punk than Sean is. Sean's probably Tony, and I'm probably CM Punk. Honestly,
you're gonna finish the show in about 2 hours. You're gonna look at yourself in the mirror, and you're gonna be like, "Am I CM Punk?"
The amount of times that I like complain about stuff that I probably shouldn't be complaining about, the amount of times that like I'm really like pulling back the curtain, I'm gonna make myself sound really bad right here. The amount of times that like I'm yelling at people to do stuff, and the amount of stuff that I ask for and everything, I'm way closer to CM Punk than Sean is. And you know what? I got nothing. Punk has his issues and everything. It pops me. So this dude pops me. I don't have any muffins.
We did that bit. And it was great.
I did an Oreo eating contest. All right. Like I've eaten food on this channel before. I've made food on Twitch, which we're technically on Twitch right now, on that channel before. Yeah. CM Punk pops me so much. As someone who has no real attachment to this and is only here for the jokes and the memes, and like people are like, "Oh, you gotta send him home, fire him, let him go. It's too much of a headache." Dude, we've had the best year in wrestling talking about this dude. He hadn't been present for most of it. And we've been talking about it, talking about him and what it could mean. He rules. It all rules. Just maybe that's my issue is I don't take any of this serious, and I try to see both sides of all of this. But at the end of the day, this is pro wrestling. It's the dumbest, best sport in the world, and I don't know any of these people on that level. I've talked to them. I've had decent not with CM Punk. Never talked to them. I've had decent conversations with some of these people. We've had plenty of wrestlers on our show. Everyone we've talked to, I feel like we've had good conversations with. But like, I don't know them outside of this show. I'm just here to laugh and hopefully make other people laugh along the way. That's it. I can give a balanced take on stuff. At least I think it's a balanced take. I feel I give a balanced take on stuff, but like I'm here for the jokes and memes, man. I don't play one side or the other. So yeah, I'm CM Punk. Fuck it. I'm past 5 minutes. I can curse. I'm trying to run a business.
That's right. I was gonna say something like he looks in the mirror and he says, "I'm gonna have to challenge my kids to a fight," and then I realized, no, you're not Tyrus.
Oh well, I fight my kids all the time. Nobody clipped that. One just asked for it. Like, just I was like, "You want to fight?" Like, yeah. And the wife is like, "No, you're supposed to put up some resistance," and just wants to wrestle all the time. Bless.
Hey, I watched you and Sean almost put one of your children through a table. Okay, so
no, not true. That
Not
was not
true?
one of my kids. That was one of Cher Delaware's kids.
Oh my goodness, you're right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. My mistake. It was one of Cher's kids, which
Yeah.
honestly, like, let's face it, wrestling kids are all the same. They all,
Yeah.
they're all-
I did almost put one of Cher Delaware's kids through a table at a restaurant. That is factual.
I'm glad that we cleared that up. My mistake. I'm glad we issued the retraction on the air and we figured it out. By the way, I love so Sean, like you said, is going to be on post wrestling and the WrestleNomics feed. That is right after you and I basically manifested it by talking about Brandon Thurston and the WrestleMania 3 numbers and the video and praised him. And then all of a sudden, John Pollock is like, Sean's going to be on Wednesday. And I'm like, we did this. This is our power, Jeremy.
We do have more power than we probably should, sadly. Like yeah, it's not great. I don't know. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, let's get a couple super chats while we're here. Ryan Sullivan, oh dear, says, you know what, Joel? I hope Ring of Honor goes 3 hours on Thursday, so your Impact review is all messed up. Two things about that. One, Ring of Honor can barely go 1 hour at this point because they keep screwing up the tapings. And two, I was at Impact this past week, so I can tell you what happened without even showing up on time for my work. So I will be okay. And the Glassdoor Gamer, let's get into the real stuff. TNA, AEW, WWE, Punk has issues at all companies. Time to move on from the dude. Seems like he thinks he's the hero of his own story. So I made this joke when the PW Torch story dropped about TK and Punk having some words reportedly backstage at All In. I kind of said, Punk is just going to run off to Impact Wrestling and form a stable with Jonathan Gresham, and then we'll be okay in like 6 months. But we got to talk about it. Punk thinks he's the hero of his own story. It's a pretty solid way of putting it. He continues to be the centerpiece of each story that happens. Not every physical story, because there have been other stories about pie facing in the backstage area. There was Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. There was Andrade and Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is also part of this. But either way, Punk, he got physical. Okay. And then I think at the end of the day, that is the biggest no of the entire story, and why something has to happen, in this case suspensions, because there's physicality involved. In sports, in pro sports, teammates they fight in one way or another all the time, but sports have their own version of it's not a zero tolerance, but at least a 3-strike system or some sort of system that punishes a player for getting physical with a teammate. Whether that is a suspension, or if that is a fine, or if it's a combination of both, or it's a 3 strikes, or whatever it is, something exists. something like this seems to exist in AEW. We don't know what it is, but either way, we now know that suspensions have been doled out. It's not the first time Punk has been suspended. He is now the first AEW star to be suspended twice by the company. Congratulations for that. But now we have Perry and Punk having been suspended. So, what were your initial reactions when that dropped?
Real quickly, A Shock mentions Draymond Green, and yeah, Draymond Green. There's video of him punching his teammate Jordan Poole in practice. He got fined, didn't get suspended for that. Probably should have. Honestly, that was a bad punch what he threw, and you want to say it's heat of the moment type of thing. And Draymond's been suspended for stuff he's done on the court. Not a great history with Draymond when it comes to this stuff. Things are going to be handled the way they are going to be handled, right? And so Eddie Kingston got 2 weeks for essentially pie facing Sammy Guevara. That was the story. He got 2 weeks for pie facing Guevara. Punk and the Elite, they got however long you want to call that. They got what Punk's injury played a part in it. The Elite were out from All Out to Full Gear, basically. So that was about 2.5 months, give or take, there. And then Punk, wasn't back until June, but again, injury was part of all of that. There's no hard and fast rule, even in real sports. So I don't want to even say that like AEW needs this kind of policy. I know you kind of put something. Sorry if I'm rolling like a circles tweet here, Joel.
How dare you? Now my circles have been exposed. Yeah, I did. Because I sometimes put this stuff out there as like a more of a thought process thing than anything else. And I did receive some feedback, by the way, from AEW about what I was saying. So that's kind of why I am willing to put this out there right now. So continue, please.
So I understand, like, maybe you do want to put some type of 3 strikes rule. Here's what it is. Everyone knows type of thing. But there's different levels to this. And right or wrong, part of that level is what you bring to the company. That's why Ryan Nemeth can do one thing and receive one punishment, and people feel how they feel about it. And CM Punk can do one thing, receive a different punishment, and people are like, oh, wait a second. How is this fair? Well, CM Punk is one Bill Phil, and Ryan Nemeth is the guy on BTE. Like, that's just kind of what it comes down to. And that's how it works in real sports too. Right or wrong, the quarterback is gonna get away with more than the third string offensive lineman. That's just how it works. So I don't know if a 3 strike policy in that way is going to work, because there's just levels to this kind of stuff. Now, as far as CM Punk goes and this particular incident, I see a lot of people on social media. They're trying to. I don't have blame on. I have blame on people, but like the who started it thing, I don't care so much as the escalation part of it. So we can, if you want to really date all of this stuff back, did it start with Hangman Page and his offhand comment in that promo that no one really thought twice about, but Punk took it a certain type of way, right? That's where people are like, this is what started it. This started everything. This Hangman Page comment. Okay. If you feel that way, fine. You feel that way. That's what started it. But then it escalated from there. How did it escalate? Why did it escalate? A big part of the reason why it escalated is CM Punk's comments in the press conference. CM Punk's comments when he comes out there and says coward shit. Well, that unnecessarily. It escalated. Let's go to All In. Jack Perry makes the comment, Rio Glass, Cry Me a River. He starts it, right? Theoretically, he starts it. They get backstage. I don't know who escalated it backstage. I don't know if Perry stepped to Punk. It depends on which side you want to hear from. I don't know if Perry steps to Punk. I don't know if Punk steps to Perry. Who shoved who? Punk's are the overwhelming story is there was some type of face lock, headlock, chokehold put on, and so that it went from there. So that all escalated from there. Who are you going to blame? Both parties, probably. It's probably both their faults, but because it is both their faults. I don't the offhand comment, the message by Perry, not great. I laughed. I thought it was hilarious, honestly. But I'm inside on this. Not great. You go backstage, emotions are running high. Can you just settle it? Can they just walk by each other? I don't know. But it got escalated. And that's the issue with all of these. Is it they get escalated, and a reason why they get escalated is because Punk is part of it. Punk is part of the escalation, and he is not helping matters in that. He cannot sit idly back, right or wrong. He can't sit idly back and just be like, okay, you know what? I'll address this all fair. I'll talk to, let's get people in the room. He says he wants to get people in the room and everything. That's the story. He wants to get people in the room, but then it doesn't happen. Apologies are not given. It just gets escalated. And now we've escalated to the point again where CM Punk is suspended. And now AEW's got to figure that out. Figure that out.
Let's get the super chat from Professor. It says, CM Punk tried to be a martial artist. He lost both times badly. Now he spends his free time bullying people who are smaller than him or shorter than him exclusively, threatens them first, can't enjoy him. So I did make the reference about the internally about the trained fighter comment, and and that was just too much to me. I don't necessarily think it was bullying people who are smaller than him or shorter than him. I think that there's something there. I'm not going to shrink the guy. It's not my job. But there's certainly, like, he's done this multiple times, and I understand that this continues to be a very me-centric situation where Punk will basically, how can I put this? He couldn't spend 30 minutes just swallowing his pride and like just leave it alone at the biggest show that this company's ever done because he was so angry about someone, in this case, speaking into the camera, making a comment that you and I touched on Monday, and we both laughed, and I continue to laugh because, again, I see it as an internal, if you know, LOL, and then externally, I see it as like, if you don't know and you're not like a newsletter subscriber, whatever, you just kind of say, oh yeah, he's pointing out that it's real glass and he's a wrestler, and oh my god, like he did that. You don't really think much of it either way, or at least you don't. One guy thought of it, and it's become what we're dealing with now, what we're discussing now. But there is a behavioral thing, because again, it continues to happen where things get physical, which at the end of the day, again, that can't happen, but it keeps on happening, and that's not the way to deal with it. And it's excruciatingly frustrating because, like I said, biggest show they've ever done and biggest event that's happened in years, and a lot of it gets sidetracked by this. And that's why I'm glad on Monday we got to spend a lot of time just pushing past it and talking about the show itself. But it's frustrating that we get to now sit down and we got to deal with the after effects, because guess what, there's a pay-per-view on Sunday, and there's a Dynamite tonight with only one match announced, and we have no idea what the hell's going on. And maybe there was always only going to be one match announced tonight, but I'm sure a lot of things have changed between what happened on Sunday and where we are now on Wednesday, because people arrived in Chicago as early as Monday, I guess, and now we're trying to figure out what's going to happen on TV for the next 3 nights.
And that's going to be the issue this week, is they're in Chicago, home of CM Punk. Nothing was announced for All Out for CM Punk. You had to think he was going to play a part somewhere. They ain't running Chicago. They ain't running the United Center and not having CM Punk as part of this show. That just, that doesn't seem like good business. And I imagine Punk was going to be part of this show in some capacity. And now, assuming this suspension doesn't end on Friday, he's not going to be part of the show. I think it seemed like they were building towards a strap match with him and Ricky. They didn't really have anything else lined up that makes sense. MJF and Punk, which we kind of theorized that maybe they do, real world title. MJF wasn't playing with that. So it seemed like they were building with Punk and Ricky. And now that is likely off the table. So where do you go? Like, looking at the card right now, Moxley and Orange, assuming Orange wins tonight. That's the headlining match. Can they get like an FTR, Adam Cole, MJF rematch going? I think that's a big match, especially since FTR beat them, pinned MJF. Otherwise, you're in Chicago for a week without your Chicago draw. And I remember when All In was announced and they announced Wembley. And then it's like, oh, they're gonna run All In, All Out back to back. Everyone, and this was they announced this in like April, I believe. This was before Punk was like officially back. But everyone was like, oh, they got something up their sleeve for this. They're gonna do something big on these shows. And All In turned into be a big show, but people were fantasy booking the Elite against CM Punk and FTR for All In. I mean, even the FTR were commenting on it. And it's like they're definitely gonna have something big if they're doing back-to-back weeks. CM Punk's gonna play a big role in all of this. CM Punk got a match against Samoa Joe that opened the show, which I loved. I think it was a fantastic match, but it wasn't hastily put together, but it was also didn't seem like it was maybe the first plan they thought of when they did this. And now he's not even going to be on All Out. And if things continue down this road, so it's a tough position, and it's the position that's Tony Khan has been put in, partly because of his own doing, because he didn't nip this much earlier, and also because wrestlers are going to be wrestlers.
It's time to strap the rocket. Strap the rocket. It's time to strap the rocket to Sky Blue for that big Chicago pop.
She just lost.
Well, she doesn't have to lose ever again if this continues to happen.
Sky Blue against Saraya.
Let's do it. That's the main event. Cyclops better than Logan with the bits. It says, where there's smoke, there's fire, and CM Punk seems to always have a can of gasoline and matches wherever he goes, from Ring of Honor to WWE to AEW. Smoke follows him. First of all, it's Eddie Kingston who carries a can of gasoline. Okay, let's get that right. But I mean, this is where it's frustrating, because it's like, is he problematic, or is he passionate? Is he somewhere in the middle? There are some things with AEW Collision that you and I continue to say we love. There are certain booking philosophies, certain ways of togetherness and things like that. But also, I don't want people to take me the wrong way when I say this, but like maybe there's a bit of a cult leader mentality when it comes to Punk and Collision, and he wants to be the locker room leader so bad. And as a result, the people who, not everyone, I'm not saying everyone in Collision is like this, but there are certain people who are going to be his ride or die. But I think maybe saying cult like is a little too excessive, but if I say it, people kind of understand where I'm coming from. There are people who are very firmly in his camp. Sean had said that, some of those people have been very quiet since the incident happened at All In, and that's worth noting. That doesn't necessarily mean they're not speaking up or not saying anything. It could very well just be like, we're not doing this, or we're going to let the smoke pass, or we're going to be silent so that this kind of carries over faster, whatever it is. They could have been told not to say anything. We don't know, but it is worth saying, like, there are people in that camp who are going to ride for CM Punk.
There's the famous Jericho and Cody story on like the first Jericho cruise, where they talk about Punk being a locker room leader and Booker T not picking up the trash, and Punk is like, I'm the locker room leader, pick it up. And then Punk walks away, and Booker T's like, he ain't telling me what to do. And then Jericho and Cody basically say, like, there's locker room leaders, and the locker room leaders are the ones that don't actually say they're the locker room leader. It's the ones who just go about it. And I always think about that when I think about CM Punk, is he is very loud and wants to tell you that he is the locker room leader. And usually when you are that loud about things, you are not the leader you need to be. And that's like, that's fine. Like, you think you are, but you are not the leader that maybe you need to be in this situation. I think Punk has good qualities about him. I don't think Cameron Hawkins, Seahawks, makes had popped me with one of his tweets of like, you can be on the right side of an argument and the wrong side of somebody's nerve. That's like, you can be like that. That is kind of how I feel sometimes about Punk. And it's like, I think he has some good qualities. I think he does want the best for AEW. and for wrestling. I truly believe that. I think CM Punk loves wrestling, and I think he does want the best for AEW because AEW's made him a lot of money when it didn't look like he was going to return to wrestling and make this kind of money and have this kind of run. But in doing so, he can't get out of his own way with stuff. Like he just can't. And sometimes you got to be an adult and you just got to this is what I tell. That's what I joke about with the wife of this is the advice I'd give to every single wrestler, every single person who's on Twitter and thinks their opinion. I've done the opinion, right? Every single person who's on Twitter and thinks their opinion is more important than everybody else and wants to get all this stuff out there. Shut the fuck up. That's all you got to do. Just shut the fuck up and you'll get in far less trouble. And I understand it sucks. I understand you want to get your comment out there and everything. I understand you want your opinion to be heard. You want your voice to be louder than everybody's. But you know what that does? It gets you in trouble a lot of times. So if you just shut the fuck up, there won't be as many issues. And sometimes you got to be an adult. And part of being an adult is shutting the fuck up. And then maybe we wouldn't have these kind of issues.
Psychos Better Than Logan says, any man who must say, I am the king is no true king. That's a Tywin Lannister comment from the Game of Thrones.
I watched that show.
Have you?
Yeah. It was, I got forced into watching it. Not my cup of tea. I like the last season the best, which everyone says is the worst because like it's just dumb shit happening all the time and it's very like fast-paced storytelling where the first however other many seasons are very like slow and it's just like there's 800 characters. I don't know any of them. Game of Thrones is one of the most overrated television shows of all time. Honestly, it sucks. I'd probably never watch it again, but the last season's good.
When will they get to the dragons?
There's dragons in there.
That's the whole first season is when will they get to the dragons?
And people...
I didn't like the show. It's fine. I get it. Listen, if you liked it, whatever. Most of my time is spent watching professional wrestling, so I get it. There are a lot of things better on TV. Anyway, Johnny John Spurs sent a super chat saying it's funny to remember all of this happened because CM Punk leaked a story 2 weeks later to take the heat off the dumb Hangman comment, action figure comments. Go ahead, Jeremy Lambert.
This is the funniest thing to me. This is the funniest thing in the world to me that CM Punk was mad about the Elite leaking stuff to Dave that shouldn't have been leaked over Cole Cabana and everybody. CM Punk is telling people to shut the fuck up and stop talking and all this stuff. And then he's sending his diary off of like, they didn't pick me up at the airport and I had to take the train. And then I've had no communication. He is out here. Dear Nick, Tony didn't pick me up today. Tony has not returned my calls. Hilarious. If you can't find the humor in this man being like, here's why I'm mad at everybody. They're talking when they shouldn't be talking. And then he's sending off pigeon carriers to everybody in wrestling. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
I want Nick Hausman to get a sit-down interview with CM Punk so badly at this point. Because it's just, again, this is no shade at Nick. I just love that he is, in the eyes of most wrestling fans who are terminally online, he has become like the CM Punk talk box. You push him on the top of the head and he's got a CM Punk quote for you. He did an hour and a half with Wade, and I thought it was very funny that they spent all this time talking about the suspensions and the CM Punk side of things and what was going on with AEW, and then they shifted to WWE and everything was like positivity and happiness. And that's not me shitting on anybody in this case. It was just a very funny like juxtaposition of conversation because one has a lot of AEW has a lot of stuff going on, and this is the story, unfortunately, that's dominating. And then on the other side, the conversation is, did The Miz dig in a little too heavily on LA Knight? And we're going to talk about that on our show. It's somewhere in the second hour. I know about it, and that's fine. But like, I just find it funny that Nick continues to get, continues to get the Punk side and run with it as if suddenly it feels like they're best friends.
CM Punk didn't want to hurt Jack Perry because he's a trained martial artist. That line, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. The WWE thing, and this is what I wanted to bring up of like man, there's issues in all of these locker rooms, right? Like not everybody likes each other, gets along. We all know this. You don't like every single person you work with. Seth Rollins and Cody, I don't know how much legitimate heat there still is there, but they took shots at each other in interviews and in media of like Seth. I think there was some professional jealousy that Cody came in and got this main event and stuff. There was clearly something there. It's Seth and Riddle. Like we know that was an issue. But there's just this is the maturity level of things, right? Of like if you got an issue with this person, you either handle it, you talk to them, you actually talk it out, and you figure it all out. And maybe you come to an agreement where you can work, and maybe you come to an agreement where you can't work together. Regardless, you talk it out, you air things out privately in a safe setting to where hopefully there is no physical altercation there, but you talk about it and you go from there. And to do that, somebody's got to be mature enough and to handle all of this. And then unfortunately in AEW and unfortunately surrounding right now one person, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. And that's why you see these kinds of issues. And this is where just maturity and being an adult comes into play here. Is there's right ways and wrong ways to handle this in a professional setting. And it ain't being handled well in AEW. Because we're seeing fines, we're seeing suspensions, we're seeing plans get blown up, and it sucks. I was looking forward to what was going to happen this week. I take away the backstage stuff. As a television performer, I'm a fan of CM Punk. I think he's fun on promos. I think he's very good in the ring. I think he's had more good matches than not since returning to AEW. His feuds have been entertaining. His promos have been good. Does he need to take the shots that he takes? Maybe not. And maybe that escalates stuff, especially when you don't clear this stuff with people. But still, as a performer, I like CM Punk. And now we're not going to get CM Punk again for who knows how long because he wants to choke Jack Perry.
Because he hates it here and he wants to quit, Jeremy. That's
man.
I hate it here. He's Stewie Griffin in the crib once it falls, and he says, "I hate it here," and that's it. And then TK Punk comes in. So TK comes in and says, "No, we can make it better." You know, I'm seeing the tweet that Sean put out. Apparently, AW Collision at the United Center was moved to Friday instead of Saturday. So I don't know if that's live for the movement. So the show's been moved to Friday, September 2nd. Whether the event is now going to air live on Friday or if it's being taped for Saturday, that I don't know yet. But that's something that I'm seeing kind of being passed around. So we'll see. We'll see how that's going. Go ahead.
Sean's tweet here. It's got attention fan. Your event is still on, but it's been moved to a different time. It's been moved to a whole damn different day. It ain't like, you know what? The door is now open because All In, it was like, the doors are going to open earlier for everybody. It's like, you got to,
hold on. It also says the event is now Friday, September 2nd. September 2nd is a Saturday.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's very strange.
I don't know dates around here.
I was just looking at my calendar now. So either Ticketmaster screwed up or this isn't. I mean, someone could have photoshopped this, but I mean, it says 10:38. Like this is pretty, on par.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like it. Other people said they got it as well. The event will begin the TNT event will begin at 7 p.m. But it's Chicago time, so that's still 8 p.m.
Yeah, it's still 8 p.m. Very strange. If you got that and you're in the chat, if you got that email, let me know, okay? Because clearly that's a thing. Let's get to a couple super chats and then we'll, I don't know, probably still be talking about CM Punk in 15 minutes. Glassdoor Gamer says many Punk fans are fed up with him. Ticket sales and ratings now prove that Punk lost his enthusiasm. MJF and Adam Cole are clearly the draw. They certainly main evented the show. MJF and Adam Cole did. They're clearly very popular with the audience, but they're not popular with the entire audience. There are certain people who don't love the way that MJF and Adam Cole are telling their story, whereas they might enjoy the way that CM Punk tells his story. But when you come into Chicago, the fans are clearly there to see the hometown boy. That's the biggest issue running into All Out, and a full week of TV tapings. Not that Punk was going to be on Dynamite, but like that was the whole thing, was that you're going into CM Punk's home city. It's going to be a big show, a big event. Presumably he was in the main event. We're working to nail that down, what the plans were going into it. But like this messes things up. And you and I talked about MJF and Cole possibly, going up against the Kingdom for the ROH tag titles and all that. I don't think you can do that anymore. I think you really need to have MJF be like, bro, Chacho, I love you, but I have to go, put my title on the line against Matt Taven so I can drop the interview. I don't know. It's weird.
I feel like MJF had time off though, because he did not go back to America. He went to France to, in his words, bang rats. So he did not go back to America after this. I feel like MJF had time off, and now I think he said as much in the press conference. He said a lot in that press conference. I can't remember it word for word, but like I think he had time off, and now he might be getting called back in here to do something because of all this. They need something for this show this weekend. I mean, Moxley and Orange Cassidy, that's a good match. They've been building that. Orange Cassidy is a draw. John Moxley's John Moxley. He's a draw. The rest of the card, though, if you don't have Punk in Chicago, you don't have MJF. Who you put? You got Kenny and Takeshita, but Kenny's kind of taking a back seat for a little bit here. And that match is big, but doesn't feel that big. It's Punk in Chicago. This week was designed to be a CM Punk celebration of some sorts. Like they run the United Center because they have Punk. Otherwise, they'd probably keep running now. And even these tickets aren't like the best they've done. They sold out Rampage on the CM Punk rumor. These aren't selling even like that. So not having Punk, if you can get MJF, then you should probably, pay him up. MJF is like yesterday's price is not today's price, but you might have to pay up on MJF to get him on this show. But I don't think he was originally planned for this show, if I'm being honest.
I don't think so either. Again, you could do the tag title thing, but I don't think it was planned. But you gotta, I don't know, you gotta have what would Punk have been like? Oh, you're not gonna have the real world champion, or you're not gonna have the AEW world champion, the fake champion. So I'm gonna be the main event. Is that kind of where you would have gone? And just poke the bear even further without knowing if this is actually going to be a thing?
No, because I think that real world title was a bad idea if you didn't have Punk and MJF agreeable to do a unification match at some point. And maybe they think they could just get away and let time pass and it'll eventually come around to doing it. Or whenever MJF drops his title, you could do it. Whoever he drops it to, then you can do the Punk and MJF or Punk and whoever unification match. I understand the point of wanting to do the real world title because technically CM Punk did not lose, and like it's a cool little online or cool little television story, and it ties up a thread that is still there and addresses a kind of big elephant in the room that Punk never lost the title. There's more elephants in the room that have gone unaddressed. A lot of elephants. These are some big locker rooms.
All elephant wrestling.
But if you didn't have that match like lined up, maybe not the greatest time in the world to do it. I guess that's how you could have addressed it, is like MJF won't show up. So now I got to put the real world's title on the line and give Chicago what they want. But then, then you're just giving people a story that you might not be able to deliver on. And Punk's been doing a lot of that, and that ain't great.
Listen, I think it's time for one world champion, one real world champion to rise up, a Chicagoan, to defend his title and absolutely destroy it. Colt Cabana's Jewish title. It's time.
They should put Colt on this show.
Where's
Jericho? Where's Jericho to pop himself? And He's gonna get cult on this show. You know what would be great? I don't know who talks to who, by the way.
Well, you
Alvarez.
and I, we talk to each
Yeah,
other.
we talk to each other. Alvarez said that he talked to 5 people. These are Brian's words. So I'm not throwing out sources of like this person's talking to this person. Brian's like, 5 people told me this. You know what I hope's happening? I hope somebody's back there. Maybe it's like I don't know attaching name to it. Somebody's back there. And they're just spinning a wheel. And
Spin the wheel,
it
make a deal.
yeah. And it's just this person says, spin the wheel. That he fought this person, and then you spin it again. And it was like, it's like Clue or some shit. But you're just spinning the wheel, and it's Mad Libs. And it's like, this person fought this person here. This person said this about this person, and it got back to this person. They're just spinning a wheel. They don't actually know any of this stuff, but they're just coming up with the Mad Libs via the wheel spin. And then they're just telling whoever. They're sending out the mass email to all the reporters. And I don't get. That's what I hope's actually happening.
This is what RJ City is doing when he's not doing AEW. He is sitting there just spinning wheels for everyone's enjoyment backstage. That's why he's been hired. Shout out to RJ City. Who needs to be on this show if you can just sit around backstage spinning wheels and making Mad Libs all day, right?
Can I send this link to RJ City? He's gonna yell at me.
What happened last time you did that?
Yeah, he yelled at me.
He did.
And, he called you by the wrong name, which popped me.
They called me Joe.
Yeah. And then I called you, what'd I call you? Like Joey or something.
We've done interviews and he just doesn't know my name. It's very fun. We've seen each other for years and he just doesn't know my name. That's not my name. Shout out Matthew. Let's go. Professor sent a super chat saying CM Punk orders people around like he's in charge of their creative and aftermath. Someone should clue again everybody else in, because if this happened at your job, you'll be frustrated. Also, he's not in charge. And yeah, I get it. Again, going back to the locker room leader conversation we had earlier, if you got to call yourself the locker room leader, odds are you're probably not the locker room leader. I understand Punk believe. And I'm not going to say this. I am going to say this much. He's a draw. He is smart to the business. He's been around for a long time at a very high level. Well, actually, he hasn't. He took 7 years off. So, like, he's been.
Yeah, but it speaks to his testament, and it speaks to his testament. I don't think that's a real thing. It speaks to his kind of drawing power that, like, for a large chunk of those 7 years, CM Punk chants were still filling the building, and he was still talked about.
I think part of that was also just because of the way in which he was allegedly released with the FedEx papers, and everyone was at the time like, how could they? How dare they? This is so unfair. Like the story just kind of gained its own lore, and then there was the court case, the Z-Pack, the Cole Cabana case. Like it just everything kind of built from there. Punk was never like Mr. Wrestling for those 7 years. It was always like, what if he came back? And then, of course, you had people like Bob O'Neill sending that stupid photo around every time. Oh, God, I love it. He was stuck at Heathrow Airport and he didn't put the photo up. I'm very upset. Easiest gimmick, and Bob O'Neill just didn't do it. So with Punk, it's like, I get it. You've been around, you think you deserve it, but the sense of entitlement does not mean you get to be the guy. And the guy isn't always the top of the card. Sometimes the guy is just...
You opened the show, Joel. What more do you want?
Stop it. You know what I'm saying. Sometimes the guy is not the champion. Sometimes the guy is not the main event. I get that traditionally over the last little while, John Cena is a pretty good example of this. But even beyond Cena, before that was The Undertaker. And Undertaker he wasn't always top of the card. Sometimes he was just underneath, and sometimes he was just running show from his own vantage point. He was the judge, jury, and executioner of his own locker room.
You know what Punk should have done? I understand he wants to look out for people, and we know he's got a little bit of hand in kind of how things were run on Collision, right? It was his show, one Bill Phil. Like he got that show. He wanted things run a certain way. We don't do that on Saturdays type of thing. If the Wednesday people want to show up and do stuff like get smashed with real glass, Punk should have been like, you know what, dummy? go for it. Just go. Get hit with real glass. If that's what you want to do to yourself, and when it hurts you, when it cuts you, I'm just gonna sit here and laugh and tell you I told you so. He was smart. He was, I don't know. He was trying to look out in this sense for Jack Perry. Like, no, don't do that. That's stupid. But sometimes you gotta let people be stupid and let them make their own mistakes instead of butting in and trying to police things when some of these people, they're just gonna do what they want, and it just they're gonna get hit with real class. They want to get hit with real class. Like, okay, go do that. If they're gonna act, this is you're a parent, Joel, as am I.
Yep.
Sometimes these kids just want to do dumb stuff. And as a parent, sometimes we got to be like, hey, listen, maybe not. That's a bad idea. This could happen. And then, of course, the kid is like, no, never. They jumping off of, this 30-foot balcony. I won't get hurt or whatever. You tell them no, you tell them no, you tell them no. And then they keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And then you're just like, you know what? You dummy, jump. That's my kid. Love him.
It's 30 feet. He's gonna die.
Well, I'm not serious when I say 30 foot, but you know what I mean. Like it's like, go, just jump. And when you break your leg, like, was that worth it? I do this with the kids all the time. I don't have them jump off 30 balconies, but they're always like, how do you learn to fall off a 30-foot balcony? They always do this thing where they'll try to like mess with me or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, I'm trying to bop you on the head, and I'll just like pick them up and throw them onto like the couch or the bed or whatever. Like, how'd that work out for you? Like, not good. That's what you got to tell. That's what CM Punk should have just told Jack Perry. I want to use real glass. Okay, how'd that work out for you? Not good. Because I got glass stuck on me. I got all cut up. Got all this stuff. Yeah, idiot. Don't do that. Sometimes you got to learn these lessons on your own.
My big takeaway from that is that Collision is the PG show. That's really what it is. Will Chisholm sent the super chat saying, as a 33-year-old man with a kid, how many times can we keep giving Punk the what is that? The care so much pass? That giving Punk
I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Sorry about that. Well,
please clarify.
The message being the man being in his 40s and him being a good performer shouldn't be a pass. And this is exactly what Jeremy was just alluding to. It's the fact that you can only give so many opportunities, so many chances to somebody and coddle them for so long that like there needs to be some tough love. And that is the biggest that's the biggest thing to keep in mind is how much longer can the tough love exist? And when you start spewing things like, I hate it here and this company is trash and I don't want to be here, well, that's a temper tantrum. That is an 18-month-old throwing a temper tantrum, but having the words to say it.
Yeah, when you're doing the I quit, when you're threatening to quit, and you're apparently pulling Tony into an office and using harsh words and yelling, when just before, according to the timeline, was he had some type of heated argument with Tony, then the thing with Perry, then the match, then the joke with Miro. Like, so he did that with Tony before the show was about to go live. And it's like, dude, maybe just don't do that before they're about to put on the biggest show in history. Maybe save your complaints that you weren't picked up at the airport for a different time or whatever it might be. Like, can we celebrate this moment a little bit? And yeah, he's passionate, he cares and stuff, but he's the common denominator in this, and you can't keep giving him a pass. I wasn't going to give him a pass after the elite stuff because I said they are within every bit of their right to not want to work with him. Like, he's trying to work himself. He's trying to shoot himself into a work. And they're like, no, we're not doing this. Like, you just got to let this stuff go, man. Like, you just be an adult. Just be an adult. Just let stuff go when it comes to this, or understand the situation, read the room, whatever it is. You gotta let it go. Frozen, bitch.
Hey, what are you up to on Thursday?
Oh, I don't know. Why? I got a show to do.
Well, you also got a TK Media call now.
Yeah, I saw. What time is it?
I don't see a time yet.
It's probably at like 2 or
Yeah, 1 or 2.
something.
If it's at 1, then, that's noon where he is. He'll be eating his steak wrap. Sorry, wrong guy. While we sit and ask questions about things he won't comment
So
on.
Sean has confirmed, if you're getting this email, Friday is a Ticketmaster error. Collision is still Saturday. The time change is correct, not the date change. So basically what we said here, we broke that news. Please give us credit.
Yes, please credit in the weeds and subscribe to us here on the channel while you're dropping that thumbs up and donating super chats like Glassdoor Gamer does, saying you should take the time to really enjoy CM Punk while he's here because he's not going to be here much longer. Fragile mind, fragile ego, fragile body. That was John Moxley. And Glassdoor Gaming says he was spitting facts.
Bless John Moxley.
Yep.
Bless him. That's a man who is just an adult when it comes to this stuff. He shows up, does his job, bleeds because fuck it, why not, right? Goes home, sends an email to his wife asking if she wants to bang because romance is not dead in the Moxley household, takes care of his kid, competes at grappling tournaments on his free time, goes to an indie show to bleed some more. Bless that man. Build the company out of John Moxley. What if we built the entire plane out of John Moxley?
We did that. Not the plane, you idiot.
And it ruled.
It did. 2019. Wait, no, 2021. It's just, man.
It's in the middle of a pandemic, unfortunately.
The man carried that company through a pandemic. Him and Hikaru Shida really did it. They did the thing. So Mox is the MVP. Maybe he gets the main event at All Out. I know that
should. I just said that. Moxley and Orange Cassidy.
I know you said that. I'm now kind of coming around to fully agreeing with you because you know what? The International Championship has been built as the biggest, most well-defended championship in AEW. Why not give it that extra rub with the possibility of Moxley walking out with the title? That's a big deal. That's a big opportunity. You can't, you can do a multi-man tag match, not multi-man, but multi-team tag title match with FTR and a bunch of other teams. And that would be fun. But no, I think Moxley, if he can heat it up real quick, and he got like 2 shows to do it in, maybe 3 if you count Rampage, but you got to do it quick and you can make Moxley versus Orange Cassidy a big deal.
I already think it's a big deal. They just did friggin' Stadium Stampede against each other. This has been building since the week after Blood and Guts when Moxley attacked Orange Cassidy. This has been a built up match, and the title reign of Orange Cassidy has been certainly a built up thing. And Shawn Moxley, I'd headline it right now based on what else is on this card. That's what I would headline with. If you can get an MJF title defense, obviously you go with the world champion in there. And I do think MJF, Adam Cole against FTR, that would be the headlining match if you can do that. If MJF is involved, he's headlining. He's your world champion. Whether it's a tag team match or whether it's a world title defense, you probably put that guy as the headlining act. If you don't get MJF, I'm headlining Orange Cassidy, John Moxley. FTR Bucks 2 out of 3 falls. I'd put Moxley and Orange Cassidy over that. And I understand FTR Bucks 2 out of 3 falls is a big thing. I don't know. The match was very good at All In. I have no issue with it. I said it on it wasn't. I look more fondly back on the Briscoes matches than the Bucks matches with FTR. But they're still very good matches. But they just did that match less than a week ago. By the time we have to go to All Out from All In, 2 out of 3 falls. It's a big match, but I don't know about running it back so quickly when you kind of just settled it and just settled it with the rubber match. Moxley and Orange Cassidy is a fresh match that we haven't seen, and I'm excited for it even before it potentially becomes the main event. I'd have that as the main event.
Have we considered RJ City versus Captain Insano?
Man, they got to give Captain Insano an appearance, right?
We can't keep making him gear and then not using it, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's kind of lame that they don't. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to deal with something.
We're unintelligent.
We are silly. I'm sorry. We're stupid.
Whatever.
We're idiots, Jeremy Lambert. That's what we're here for. It's true. It's fine. Anyway, enjoy not being able to subscribe to this channel. But you should subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Apparently, if you do, and you could potentially win an opportunity to watch AEW All Out. So go follow Sean Ross app and then follow us and subscribe to the channel. Because look at us, good people, huh? Look at us, we're smart.
Yeah, sometimes.
I guess it's true.
Sometimes.
I don't know where else. I don't know who else can be on this card. You do have 4 matches announced for All Out, so like it's not like the card is completely barren. There are 5. Oh yeah, you're right. There are 5. There are certain things. Even maybe not Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin, but there is room for that. And I know we're gonna sit on Friday and probably like talk about the card once it's out in full. But out of everything that's on this right now, Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley is probably the biggest one you got. Kenny and Takeshita, like you said, like there's a possibility, but I don't think it's big enough. It doesn't have the heat behind it to main event. So I don't know what else you can do.
Redmond Survivor says Saraya Shida, seeing as Shida didn't get pinned. I mean, if they can get that on the card, I don't know if I'm main eventing with that though. And the reason being is I don't know if I'm trusting Saraya singles match, a match that's got to go long like that. Her matches have been fine, but not like main event caliber matches for a pay-per-view. Okay, not main event, just this match on the card. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, I don't like that as a main event, just because she just set a very high standard when it comes to like Dynamite main events. And no knock on Saraya. Look, she's been out of the ring for as long as she's been out of the ring, and her style has changed. Just can main event Dynamite, no problem. Main eventing a pay-per-view against Shida in that capacity just doesn't. I don't know if she can work that main event style type of match right now.
Acclaimed versus Gringo Loco, Commander, and Vikingo for the trios titles. I wouldn't. Like that. Honestly, they could bring in Gringo Loco because it's Chicago, and I'm sure he'll be around and he'll be available. I wouldn't hate that either. Let's do that. Sure. Watch it get announced tonight, and I'm gonna have to laugh.
Cole versus Roddy, Cole versus Kingdom. Even though Adam Cole is very, very hot. Pause. Even though Adam Cole is on fire right now, I don't know if him alone, especially the Roddy story's been fine. The Kingdom stuff is there. I don't know if that fully screams main event either. Moxley and Orange is the match right now. Again, unless it's MJF, that's the only person in whatever capacity MJF is going to wrestle in. That's the only person I'm headlining with over Jon Moxley and Orange Cassidy.
What if it's MJF and Roderick Strong? Is that enough to get you wanting to? Because that's the only other person who's like not in a tag team like Taven Bennett and involved in this larger storyline.
Yeah. I'm putting MJF. Him and Roddy doesn't feel super hot because the story is him and Cole, but there's enough there to where I'm making that the main event.
What if it's a triple threat? You give Cole another chance. It's Cole.
Oh, then yeah, easily.
Strong. That could work. And I think that would be a fun little, like, again, we start the will they turn thing, but it's like, who is Adam Cole's best friend? And then there's a big crisis of conscience with Adam Cole, Bebe. So that works. Why Soulable sends a super chat saying, for those who are soft as the wrestlers that they cheer for, the soft drinks that they drink. Hey.
There was a great sign at All Out of Pepsi is a soft, and soft was in all caps, drink. That's a good sign. Credit to that fan. That popped me.
Well, James, our buddy Jeremy, James Vanderbeek over on Your Uncle Beak over on Twitter had a fantastic one yesterday. The joke was, customer sits down at a bar.
Yeah. This popped me. Yeah.
I'd like to order a pumpkin Perry. What's that? Says the bartender. It's just a Pepsi with Jack. You want that in a glass? A real glass? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, I laughed at that one. That one was good.
That one's been doing some numbers, rightfully so. That's a good one. So, yeah, here we are. We're a few days out from All Out, and we don't know what the main event's going to be. We don't know what's going to be announced tonight. Even AEW Dynamite tonight is just the one match.
We don't even know what's going to be announced for Dynamite tonight.
Yeah, I was just saying, there's nothing else. I see a lot of people saying Eddie versus Claudio for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I really, really, really would rather they save that for Final Battle. I really want them to say, and I understand it's a bigger stage for Eddie to win the Ring of Honor Championship, but I feel like it's a Final Battle match, because Final Battle usually tends to be that wrap up for Ring of Honor. That, and then the not Sky Blue, sorry, Billy Starks and Athena match that they're kind of building to, and they've made a tag team out of them, and it's going to be an apprentice and a turn and all that. They got enough wheels on that going into Final Battle that it's going to work. My series going off, that's great. And yeah, I don't know what to expect from All Out. There's just a lot. Yeah, the internet would probably not be super happy if the Ring of Honor title main evented All Out. That's the problem.
Yeah, Eddie and Claudio, more Final Battle. I still wouldn't headline that over Moxley and Orange Cassidy either. And I know that's been a rivalry that's been like years and years in the making. And they had the match earlier. Then Eddie had to miss time for an injury, and then Eddie missed time on AEW TV for the G1. Yeah, I'd still go again, unless MJF. That's the only person I'm headlining with over Moxley and Orange. That's the only thing I could think of off the top of my head. Redmond saying Hangman and Jay White. I like that match. That's a very good match. Hangman has been basically off television, I feel like, for most of the year, since I shouldn't say that. Him and Moxley had a feud for a large portion of the year. He's been on television since like basically Blood and Guts. Like they did Blood and Guts, and then he's just kind of been around, not doing a whole lot. They've cooled off Hangman in a big way. So I don't know if him and Jay White, that doesn't scream a headlining bout to me. Even though it's really good, I'd like to see it. It just doesn't feel like the headliner.
See Acclaim versus Bang Bang Gang. It's not a bad one either. Andrade and Malachi, but Andrade's not he's not back yet as far as we know. But if he comes back, then yeah, they could do Andrade versus Malachi. I'm still waiting for the whole La Facción Ingobernables to do the whole kicking Andrade out and getting out of Mexico, but they're not. So we could do Keith Lee and Swerve. There's your main event.
What if Keith
6 months in the making?
What if Keith Lee like opens the coffin and then Swerve is there, and then like they reunite on Dynamite, but then they turn on Rampage, and then they make the bout official on Collision, and then they face each other at All Out. That's my booking.
That is a booking. Hardys versus FTR. I don't know if I would do that. I'm seeing
that's not headlining.
No, some of these are good. And again, we're going to see tonight what they're doing. So I'm looking forward to it. But let's shift a little bit, because I think we've gotten a whole bing. By the way, it was actually very funny in the chat.
Real quickly before we do shift, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you a question.
17, 42, 78.
I was told there was no math on this program.
Tell me about it.
How would you handle CM Punk?
So I'll go back to that circle tweet that I made, and I will put it out here on this show, because let's face it, who's gonna clip it and put it up on the internet? Really, who's gonna do that? I mentioned a zero tolerance approach. I mentioned a 3-strike rule, and I said either. And I basically been told the suspensions are part of a larger situation revolving around that. My idea was the first 3 strikes. Strike 1 is a fine and a 30-day suspension. The fine preferably gets donated to a worthy cause, not AEW community, but instead somewhere that is somewhere that's agreed upon from both parties would be nice. Strike 2 is a higher fine, and a 60-day, and a 3-strike is you're out. That's easier.
What strike is he on?
Well, this is strike 2 for Punk. That's the problem. You know, this is the larger problem, is that you need, just like you said earlier, not every person receives the same punishment, because unfortunately the amount of money you're being paid doesn't always amount to the punishment given to somebody else. And in Punk's case, he should be on strike 2, which is a higher fine and a 60-day. What we're looking at realistically is whatever the hell comes out of whatever the hell they do. Is it an I'm sorry? Is it a you're gone, or do you want to talk about leaving? Like, this is there's more to it than this. But in a perfect world, I would have a 3-strike situation, similar to, when WWE announced their wellness policy, whether or not things were adhered to or not. Randy Orton very famously had the 2 strikes on him, and eventually they kind of erased them with good behavior. And I could see that being an active thing. A good behavior erases a strike, or something that like just proves that you're going above and beyond to prove that whatever you did, there has been a behavior change from what happened. Then a strike gets erased. I'm not saying it's immediate. I'm not saying it happens within like a month, but like within a time agreed, that would be part of the deal. But again, it's a larger, nuanced issue that we continue to have to talk about. But the fact that it keeps happening to one singular person in terms of the suspension is frustrating as hell. So there's no right answer, but that is what I would be on.
So you would fine them, suspend them 60 days for this latest incident. That's what you're saying.
Assuming that the first suspension had been 30 days and the similar fine, yes. In this case, we're in a completely different ball zone. We're in a completely different ballpark because his first suspension was indefinite, as was the Elite's, pending investigation. Investigations seem to have gone on for several months. So that is another big question: is are the lawyers involved? How much is going to be involved in an investigation? Is there a third party involved? How long is that going to take? That's a big problem. Make them work Rampage for 30 days. There you go. But
Rampage is taped on Wednesdays. You don't want to do that.
Start having cinematic matches taped specifically to air on Rampage from QT Marshall's Nightmare Factory gym. I don't know what the answer is, but that's kind of where I'm at. And also, this is, in certain cases, AEW has a mental health team. I don't think that I'm overstepping by stating the obvious, that they do exist. Some people know, some people don't. I think that there should be a push, it should not be, sorry, what's the word I'm looking for? They shouldn't be forced into it. It shouldn't be compulsory. But I think that if they submit to some sort of conversation with the mental health professionals at AEW, just to get a baseline approach of what's going on, they're completely impartial. They are not people who have any skin in this game. They are literally outsiders brought in to work the show. This is to me, that's a bare minimum, to at least offer that service and to implore them to consider taking part in that. Because for the physical altercations, I feel like there is more going on than what's just bubbling on the surface. There's more going on. I'm not saying they need to be shrunk for several hours, but I do think that it would be helpful to at least get some sort of baseline reading from a professional as to what the hell's going on. And then from there, they can kind of work on it.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah, no, listen, it's worth asking, but it's an impossible situation to be in. And again, this is why I don't sit here being like, Tony Khan, you have to fire CM Punk. No, it's not that. There's so much more going on, and it's a much more nuanced conversation. But in my eyes, if you set up some sort of agreement amongst wrestlers, and it's in a handbook or whatever it is, this is the way it works, and this is the way that it is. And different situations merit different, different situations merit different consequences or actions. But by and large, these are the situations you'd be dealing with.
Okay. I just wanted to, you were very well balanced and nuanced with your opinions and takes, Joel. So I wanted your thoughts on how you would kind of handle and approach Pepsi Phil.
No, I'm stupid and boring, Jeremy. Get with the times.
Well, yeah, that was the nice way of putting it. Well balanced and nuanced. I was trying to be nice to you, Joel. Let the record show.
Yes, let the record show. Let's take a breather. Let's move on. WWE. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw real quick. I really, really enjoyed the Nakamura and Seth Rollins segments. I really like this presentation of Shinsuke Nakamura. This is the best heel version of Shinsuke we've seen. I like that he comes out, and yeah, his whole thing is, I am going to target your back and I'm going to break it, and I'm going to, he got personal, said, I want to be the reason your wife has to carry you out of bed, the reason why you can't walk your child down the aisle when she gets married. Love that stuff. What did you think of Nakamura and Seth?
They added a lot of heat to this match that I was already looking forward to, because I thought Seth in the ring would bring out the best in Nakamura. So I was already looking forward to it just from an on paper standpoint. Now they're doing a great job of like just giving, and I guess that was the technical go home show. So that was the closing segment. But they're doing a great job of like adding more to the actual story and just putting more fire behind the match. I love the presentation of Nakamura. I liked Seth's promo as well. Of like, I want the guy who was at the Tokyo Dome, I want the guy who made people feel in NXT. If you've not seen Nakamura, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke's first match in WWE/NXT, just go back and watch that. From the entrance to the closing bell is just like peak pro wrestling stuff. Like that was a moment right there. And I'll just sometimes watch that entrance just to, like, vibe, man, because like that entrance, the crowd going crazy for him, and just his presence there in Dallas, like it was something special. And then the match was fantastic as well. It's Shinsuke's best match in WWE as well. And I think I don't even know if he's come close. Like he's had some good matches, but I don't know if anything has come close to that one. So yeah, Seth mentioned, I want that guy. And then Shinsuke, I don't know if you're gonna get that peak performance from Shinsuke because he's just older, more beat up and everything. And even Shinsuke is like, you're not gonna quite get that guy, but what you are gonna get is a guy who's just out to destroy you, a guy who is out to take everything from you. And I'm gonna be honest, Joel, I think Shinsuke should win this match. I'm kind of on board with putting this belt on Shinsuke Nakamura.
So there's a certain amount that has me agree with you. Unfortunately, the same agreement comes with Damian Priest then cashes in on Shinsuke and steals that title right away. And then we're going to do, but the problem is from there, it's going to be Seth going after Damian Priest and Shinsuke being like, hey, what about me? And we're kind of stuck again. So
why do you have to do that? Damian Priest has got another months they could do with this belt. You ain't got to get rid of it that quickly.
They do, but unfortunately, they're really pushing hard on this whole, be friends, get the gold, or don't come back. That's what Rhea Ripley's whole, thing was. And afterwards, Priest was like, I don't have to worry. I've got gold. I've got this. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to have him cash in. It really depends where on the card these matches fall. But with that in mind, I wouldn't be surprised to see Priest cash in if the Priest and Balor match ends with them not capturing the tag titles.
I think that because of that, the more likely scenario is I don't think Priest and Balor win the tag titles. I would like Sammy and Kevin to keep them a little bit longer. But I guess if they do win, then maybe you can prolong the cash in because, like, look, we got gold. Like, we don't need to cash in yet. I still have this anytime I want. Maybe Priest ends up as a double champion, but if Shinsuke does a number on Seth's back, but Seth pulls out the win, but Seth is clearly aching and everything. Here comes Damian Priest, hit him in the back with the briefcase, cash it in, win the title type of thing. I could see Priest walking away from Saturday as the new champion. Me personally, my booking preference, I like where Shinsuke is at. I'd put the belt on him, give him a little bit of run, and maybe it might be up until Survivor Series. See where we're at Survivor Series. Maybe it's Seth who gets the title back. Don't know. Maybe somebody else gets heated up, but I'd put the belt on Shinsuke right now.
What if the War Games match that you and I started talking about becomes a winner take all? Judgment Day has all the gold. Whoever's on the other side says we want those. You got a tag team, a mid carder, a main eventer. That's it.
Maybe. Hey, okay, so what do we got? We got the tag titles on the line. We got the North American title on the line.
It would be at that point, which is kind of why it doesn't work so much. And then the World Heavyweight Championship, if someone else wins it, JD McDonough, World Heavyweight Champion. No, but if let's say Priest is World Champion, JD and Finn win the tag titles, and then Mysterio. But that's the thing. But this is the thing: Judgment Day would win, and they would retain those titles because Cody's on one side, and he would not get one title. And then you got Seth, and you got KO and Sammy.
Yeah, there's that. And like, if I'm whoever's in that match, and like if I'm Cody, I'm like, well, I want the world heavyweight title. I don't know about the NXT, even
No,
though Cody's
he
going to be
wants
on
that.
NXT very soon.
Yeah, he wants that NXT championship for
Yeah,
the title
yeah.
Tuesday. He's gonna take that.
Yeah, Andrew the Giant says it, which I assume is Andrew Everett. Says problem is Cody needs to be in it, and he's not interested in those belts. Yeah, that's kind of what I see. And like Seth ain't gonna be like, yeah, give me this title. Even if I'm Kevin and Sammy, like, okay, I've had those tag titles. I want the world title as well. Like, you'd have to like get actual. If the world title is involved, even if you have like friggin' the New Day in there. I understand they're a tag team, but if I'm them, I'd be like, no, why do we want these world titles? Like, if I get this pinfall, I want that. I want the world title, not the tag team titles. So, yeah, I don't know about that.
Then you do winner take all, but then they all have to figure out within a series of very convoluted matches who gets which title. The tag title match is going to be very confusing.
They draw it out of a hat. Like, what belt do I get now? They spin the wheel. Let's bring it back around. They spin the wheel, and then that's how they did get figure out which title they pick.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Oh gosh. You know, Sean and I went through to like delete images and stuff to like save space on this little StreamYard gimmick.
Yeah, I've done that too.
And those came up and he's like, we can get rid of these, right? I'm like, Joel's gonna like throw a fit.
I'm not gonna throw a fit. I'm just gonna re-upload them.
Nah, I was like, Joel's gonna throw a fit. I went to bat for you. I mean, I kind of called you a child, but I went to bat for you. You're welcome.
You want to take this outside?
Let's step outside, Joel.
Let's step outside.
Let's step outside.
Stepping outside with Miz and LA Knight. Yeah. What do you think of this Miz promo? First of all, Miz once again undefeated and dressing up like his opponents. Does it with The Rock. Does perfect job. Completely looks like The Rock. Never looked anything different. And then he does it with LA Knight this past Monday night. I thought it was a very convincing 5 o'clock shadow that man had, and it was a very good promo that he cut. But was it a little too inside? Was it a little too cutty at the fans? What do you think of this whole thing? Because now we got Miz and LA Knight at Payback, which we knew it's announced, it's expected. This is a really interesting match. It's a very good feud coming into Payback.
I love this. Miz's impression was so good too. Like the voice was spot on.
Both men, by the way.
Yeah,
LA also got a really good Miz on Friday, so like
he
they
did.
got to give them both sides for sure.
He did. The voice was spot on. He had the mannerisms, the clothing, you know, the blending of like what, yeah, hey, the like the Austin stuff that's in there that LA Knight is accused of like doing and everything. I thought it was really good. I was a fan of Miz's promo work here. Miz does well in these situations. That's why he's in these situations. Like that's, and LA Knight's promo on Friday, I thought was excellent. This is what, you know, Steven Jensen, LA Knight top hater, always just talked about. He just comes out there. He's like, yeah, he points out the obvious and that's it. There's no actual substance to his promos. And even Jensen admitted there's been substance with the Miz feud. And it's because he's given a chance to do some substance with stuff. Before he did the Bray thing. And I mean, that's what it was. And then after that, he wasn't on TV or was doing like battle royal stuff. So you didn't really get time to, or Money in the Bank. It was multi-man matches, basically. You don't really get into substance with that. And now with this Miz feud, it's a one-on-one personal feud where you can add some layers and some depth to it. And they've done that. So credit to both men on that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of what Miz was bringing to the table on Monday. He really just kind of did a spot on impression. I don't know how I feel about him taking some of the criticisms that people had about LA Knight and then throwing it back in our faces. You know, he's a ripoff Rock, he's a ripoff Austin, he's a ripoff Attitude Era guy. Because I don't know how casual fans feel about that. I don't know if that turns the heat on or off. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes them care less or more about LA Knight. They call LA Knight the megastar. You know, that's his moniker. And for that reason, you know, a casual fan will get behind it. First time going to a show, you're told, oh, he's the megastar. Okay, cool. He's the megastar. Don't know why, but clearly people are into him. So like, I worry it was this Miz being a heel and just, you know, being that guy and trying to put seeds of doubt in the minds of LA Knight and then his fans? Or was there something there where, like, underneath the surface, it kind of undercuts LA Knight as a character and his development on WWE programming?
I didn't think it undercut at all. I mean, if you watch LA Knight, you can already see he's doing the people's elbow and everything. Like it's already there. Miz is just kind of pointing out an obvious, which I was okay with because I think even the most casual WWE fan sees the obvious. They even bring it up on commentary of the Austin and Rock comparisons and things like that. Like, I don't think it undercuts anything. I think it was, hey, let's throw in. WWE does this a lot of times when it comes to just like personal insider shots type of thing. Go ahead.
No, no, I didn't know. I was agreeing with you. So
Nah, Joel.
nah.
Yeah.
You're right. You had to keep saying
Oh,
it. What?
they do this a lot with certain stuff, and I don't think it's ever undercut. It's a wink and a nod to your more inside fans, and then if you're just kind of casually following along, I think you probably thought it was funny, and it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe this guy is like Austin Rock. Yeah, I never understood that as a criticism. Hey, you're like the two most popular stars of all time. Maybe don't do that. Nah, maybe more people should do that shit. You kidding me? They're the most popular stars of all time. The fact that LA Knight's got it figured out and understands how he can do it and do it in a different and unique way and get over with it, more people should probably try that and figure that out because, to be honest, people have tried to emulate Rock, Austin, Hogan, Flair, whoever, and most of them have failed. The fact that LA Knight has been able to get over and do it and be at this level, he's got something and he's figured it out. Credit to him.
Sure. Listen, I'm more than willing to accept that because I think that you're right. I wanted to put it out there because it's something that, I thought about and I was kind of like, is it, or is it just like good, fun storytelling with the insiders get it, and then the casual fan or the fans who are not, terminally online, maybe don't see it that way, or they're sucked into the story in a good way. So listen, I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to agree with that. The Gunther and Gable rematch is being set for next Monday after Payback. Once is that the record breaking is that night?
No, it's little. This will be the last title defense unless they have him show up on NXT and defend the title. I think like Thursday is the official breaking of the record.
I thought it was at Payback. That
No.
was the day. Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I do. Really? Are you sure?
Joel, why are you doubting me?
Because sometimes I like to cast those seeds of doubt.
All right, Joel. I'm going to tell you as always that I am right. Okay?
Sure. Go ahead.
So Honky Tonk Man is listed as having the belt for 453 days. Okay? 453 days. September 7th is when Gunther would surpass him. Whatever friggin' day September 7th is.
September 7th is next Thursday.
And what the fuck did I just say less than 2 minutes ago, Joel? Run it back, somebody.
You just said
Jeremy Lambert said
you just said
Thursday.
You just said unless he was going to put the title on the line on NXT on Tuesday.
Yeah, because I said Monday would be his last title defense because he breaks it on like Thursday. So unless he puts the belt on the line on Tuesday, Monday's his last title defense. Run back the tape. Replay.
Okay, that's fine.
Run it back.
Okay, that's fine. I thought we were trying to say was that it was this week, which tomorrow is Thursday.
No, why do you not listen to me? We've had this conversation.
I know.
Why don't you listen to me?
Because listening to you is overrated, remember?
Why? Everybody would be so much smarter if they listened to me. There'd be less trouble. People would get in far less trouble if they listened to me. They'd all be a whole lot smarter. They'd all make a whole lot more money if they just listened to me. Instead, they're like Joel, and they don't. It's upsetting.
Maybe more people should just offer to fight you and break glass.
Everybody just listen to me, okay? That's
locker room leader Jeremy Lambert.
I am. I shouldn't say that because now I'm not. but I am. I am CM Punk, everybody. CM Punk is right. Everybody just listen to CM Punk. I'm Team Punk moving forward.
Spotlight tomorrow is going to be very fun for you guys, by the way. That's going to be a very good conversation with Steven Jensen. Let me tell you, it's going to be victory laps on victory laps. It's going to be very strange, but I'm excited for it. So going back to the Gable and Gunther thing, they're not putting it on Payback. They're putting it on Raw the next night. Do you think they could have gone an extra week and maybe given the fans who are following the trajectory of the Intercontinental Championship and the record a little bit more like, oh my God, Gable might actually beat him shortly after he breaks the record? Or is this just like, we're not going to put it on Payback because we don't want to oversaturate the card?
No, you don't want to give it an extra week. Like you want to do it. I would have had him defend the title at Payback. I would have had him defend the title on Raw the next night or 2 nights later. And then I would have him defend the title on NXT. I'd have people lining up left and right of like, you're going to break this record on this day. I want to prevent you. Honky tonk stands out there. So I did there. Honky tonk stands out there trying to prevent Gunther from breaking this record. So I would have him defend the title as much as possible. I know the argument now for Payback is the same argument for Trish and Becky is like, oh, well, we've already filled out the card and we want to make sure it has enough time type of thing. And again, I think there is an argument for that because when you look at this card, it's already kind of filled. Could something else have been pushed? Probably. Maybe Rhea and Raquel, Ray in Theory. I feel like we've seen this tag team match 100 times. It's very raw. What's that?
That better be the blow off for that tag title match.
Yeah. It's a very raw heavy show too. So like you don't want to really remove Ray in Theory because then you have nothing left on the SmackDown side outside of Grayson Waller's technically SmackDown, but Cody's a Raw person. LA Knight's technically SmackDown, but Miz is a Raw person. Everything else is just Raw matches. So maybe you take away Rhea and Raquel on this show, but the show is already where it's at, and it's going to be at the length that they like their pay-per-views. So there really wasn't, I don't know if there was a good spot for Gunther and Gable. So it's going to be on Raw. I assume it'll be pretty highlighted on Raw. It should main event, if I'm being honest. I think you can kind of get away if they do want to add the Iron Man stipulation to this match. I think you could do that as well. But no, I'd have them defend the title as much as possible. I'd have guys beating down the door of like, I want this belt. I want to prevent him from breaking the record. And that's where I would go with it. Show up on NXT. Maybe that's what Carmelo Hayes went to Shawn Michaels' office about last night at the end of NXT. He said, let me get Gunther. That's what I want.
That's not that, but the open challenge concept. I'm thinking back to when Wesley would do it and he's like, I'm going to stand in the ring and whoever wants it can come and get it. And then you just see guys fighting all over the place. That's the type of thing I want with Gunther. Gunther just standing on the announce table being like, if you want me, come and fight me. And then I don't know what that was for accent, but anyway, I could just see a bunch of people, trying to fight off until, I don't know, Bronson Reed comes out, beats down everyone, and we get a Intercontinental Championship between Bronson Reed and Gunther. I don't hate that idea, but going back to Payback, there are 6 matches announced on the card. There probably will be a 7th. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jimmy Uso versus Solo Sikoa.
I don't think they're adding anything to this card.
I think they're going to add one more match, do a round out at 7.
Okay.
Unless the steel cage match is going to go 30 minutes, which I don't think it is. Rollins and Nakamura is probably a 25-minute match. Ripley and Raquel is probably a 15-minute match. Ray Theory is 15. Night Miz is probably 15 maximum. Probably.
I think this is a 3-hour show, not a 4-hour show.
Oh, it's definitely not a 4-hour show, but I'm saying like with 6 matches, even on a 3-hour show, that's a lot. That's not a lot. Sorry. It's 6 matches. 5 matches is usually what a takeover is.
But then you got Cody and Waller as well. Hello, Sean. Happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
nice eggs. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What's in the birthday omelet today?
Cheese, tomato, ham, peppers, red peppers and green peppers, and maybe bacon. I don't know.
Treat yourself.
You don't know what's in it?
Shout out to Maggie for the birthday gift.
Nice.
Oh.
She actually gets me things unlike other people in my life.
Yeah.
You just take and take and take and take.
Hey, I offered a CM Punk ice cream cake and you didn't say anything.
Sorry that there's no birthday gift for you for your birthday, you know.
You know what we
I can
did?
afford my own.
You know what we did? We manifested your appearance today on post.
Did you?
That was us.
How was that? I wasn't watching. Sorry.
I get it. We said very nice things about Brandon Thurston and his reporting on the WrestleMania 3 numbers when he dropped that video. We said very nice things about him, and then you, and then all of a sudden you were booked for post and WrestleNomics.
Speaking of, I should probably shower for that. I'll see you later.
Good luck with that.
Enjoy your shower. Enjoy your eggs. Happy birthday again. I hope it's a
Thank you,
good
guys.
day and there's no drama. You know, no drama today.
Some CM Punk news on Select today. Goodbye.
Bye.
Why can't he just post the real numbers for WrestleMania 3? Why can't Sean just put his focus on that? Would be better.
I don't think they're adding anything to this show. I think it's a 3-hour show, and this is where they're at with it.
That's fair. What I was trying to say was, yeah, NXT takeovers were typically 5 match, sometimes 6 match shows that went 2.5, 3 hours. WWE sometimes likes to elongate those middle of the match or middle of the show segments matches. And you mentioned the Waller effect. So yeah, you're right. It probably is just these 6. And then you've got Grayson Waller with who's he dudes, Cody Rhodes on the show. So there you go. That'll be fun.
I know I'm right, Joel. I appreciate you recognizing and acknowledging me as our tribal chief hits 3 years as WWE Universal Champion, and Jeremy Lambert hits I don't know how long I've been working here. 5 years, over 5 years of being correct. Thank you for acknowledging me, but I don't always need it. But thank you.
You're welcome.
But I know I'm right. I know I am. Everybody will be more correct if you just listen to me.
Anyway, Trish got put through a table in the main event.
I looked like it sucked.
Yeah, it did. That push and the fall. Oh, not great. But what do you think? This is now she went to the table. Zoe Stark was upset with herself, kind of confused what happened. And how does this play into Sunday? Yeah, Saturday.
The most hilarious thing about this match was Trish throwing that chair and hitting Zoe, and Zoe just being like, "What are we doing? Just calm it down. What are we doing here?" Trish was fired up, baby. She's like, "Here, take this chair." And Zoe had no idea. This is a fun little match between Trish and Zoe. And then Becky at the moment after she had won, kind of breaking down, paying tribute to Bray. And yeah, that was a fun match though. And on Saturday, I expect Becky and Trish to work very hard. I hope they don't ruin their own cage stipulation by having Zoe still interfere or get stuff involved because the door gets open and stuff. It's a cage match. The point of it is to keep everybody out. Adhere to that. Honor that. I think it'll be a good match, though. I think they both have something to really prove, and they're going to go out there and they're going to prove it.
Yeah, I agree. And I would love to see that as the main event. I mean, not only because I get to take a victory lap if that's the case, but also because it's been such a long and fairly well told story. Also, I understand the world title is the world title, and you got to keep building its prestige, make Nakamura look big as he's been doing. And then, yeah, what do you do if Becky wins that cage match? There's a possibility of Tiffany Stratton. You know, it's going to be Tiffany Stratton versus Kiana James at No Mercy, or is it
next week?
I don't know, man. I watched most of NXT this week. I've been doing stuff. I'm just tired.
What are we doing, Joel?
What are we doing?
It's next week. Tiffany Stratton, Kiana James.
CM Punk all day. That's people just want to talk about CM Punk.
I told you that Becky, I think you may have said it as well. I think we collectively said this. Becky's showing up on that Tuesday NXT against AEW Title Tuesday, and Cody Rhodes is showing up too, baby. Cody's showing up on that NXT show. I'm telling you.
And at this rate, so is CM Punk.
He might. What if CM Punk goes back to WWE?
What if you relegate him to NXT, you give him Shawn Michaels, and you're just like, you get along with him, you get to move up. Highest paid NXT talent ever.
He'd probably get along well with Shawn. I know that he's a Brett fan, but his actions speak as the Sean fan, more
Which
than a
is
Brett fan.
which is absolutely bonkers that he would be such a Brett fan. Brett, who is so level-headed most of the time. Like, Brett uses his words when he buries Goldberg. He never used his fists to bury Goldberg. No, Sean was the one who wanted to fight everyone. Why can't we just let these two? Why can't everyone be friends here? I love that Andrew the Giant is now booking every CM Punk match imaginable. It's going to
Dude,
be
CM Punk and Schism, he should be part of Schism.
He
Like
should.
him and Joe Gacy have a feud over the the leadership on there. Like, that's good stuff.
Punk will be the locker room leader of NXT, and he's gonna send people away. Seth Rollins comes to work NXT. Nope, not here, pal. Cut your cancer to Florida.
Punk could learn a lot from Shawn Michaels, because Shawn has famously, Carmelo Hayes talks about he wants to do all this stuff, and Shawn is like, learn from what I did, learn from my mistakes. Like, when I was younger, I didn't have anybody to guide me like this. Punk could learn a lot, because Punk, despite loving Terry Funk and Bret Hart, the man makes the Shawn Michaels points, man. Just heating things up, banning people from the locker rooms, getting people kicked out and stuff. These are Shawn tactics, not Bret tactics. And you know what? This is why I'm Team CM Punk as well, because we talked about it. People talk about it all the time. Imagine if wrestling had Twitter in the 90s when Shawn Michaels was doing all this stuff, and the height of the Monday Night Wars and everything. Guess what? This is what it would be like. This is what it would be like with Shawn Michaels and WWE and WCW. This is what it would be like. CM Punk, AEW, WWE. Bless CM Punk. This is why CM Punk is a gem in the world of professional wrestling, and why he should never, ever go away. Because Shawn Michaels, if he had Instagram, when he lost his smile, he would have done the same shit of just calling out Jon Moxley for no reason. Michaels would have been burying Sid, and Sid is like, the fuck did I have to do with any of this? I thought we did good business together. Things were great.
I didn't see this. I was just playing softball. What are we doing here?
Michaels would be like, yeah, Sid pitched a Terminator storyline. I ain't never seen Terminator, so I thought that shit sucked. But we went along with it, sure. And Sid, what's happening here? Bless CM Punk, the Shawn Michaels of our generation, and doesn't get the credit for it.
CM Punk running Diamond Mine.
The Creed with the one-arm ankle lock, one-arm powerbomb.
That was fantastic. I just like the idea of CM Punk being the leader of the MMA gym. I'm a trained fighter, damn it. And the Creed just being like, just let him be it. Just let him exist on this plane. It's fine. Yeah, that tag match, that cage match was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I think the Creeds continue to be a breakout showcase team on NXT, and it's like, when are we going to be there with them? When are we going to start moving them up, cycling them into the Raw and SmackDown roster? And where do you put them? Where do you put them? On Raw? Do you put them on SmackDown? Where would you put them if you had the opportunity to pick the Creeds?
I'd put them on SmackDown in a feud with the Street Profits.
Okay.
I need the Creeds. Street Profits are on NXT. I need the Creeds against the Profits. That's what I need right now. I think that's a great match.
You put the Creed brothers with Xavier Woods and you put them with New Day. Sorry, I was going to say Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Put them with New Day. That'd be fun.
Why? Because Woods' real name is Austin Creed?
Well, no, there is that, but also because it would just be fun to watch them interact as like.
Oh, that would be.
They'd just be like goofy white boys, and New Day are just always goofy forever. And they'd be like, "We're going to teach you how to be cool, goofy." Okay, and they're just going to be like, "What do you mean? We are cool, goofy?" And then they'll do green screen gimmicks.
I think New Day with anybody would be fantastic, because New Day is all rocks. I just say is awesome. That's the Miz. New Day rocks, Joel. Shout out to Xavier Woods, who This is the biggest story of the week in my mind. That chair that Drew McIntyre threw at this man. And Woods says he got whiplash from this. It's very unfortunate. I hope Xavier Woods is okay. I'm curious. I'm gonna CM Punk this right now. Did he have? He said his birthday is next week, and he won't be working on his birthday now. Is this an explanation because he already had his birthday off, or does he actually have whiplash and is he like gonna have to miss the week? If it is the latter, I hope Xavier Woods is okay. I wish him the best. I hope he is back the following week. If it is the former, bless Xavier Woods for working and being like, yeah, I'm just going to explain that I got the week off because McIntyre launched the chair so hard that I got whiplash. Either way, Xavier Woods is great.
He should have looked at the camera after the spot and said, there's a real chair. No fake stuff. No fake chair.
No fake office chair throwing around here.
When I saw that spot from Drew McIntyre, I was just like, oh, we're doing the Roman and Braun spot from like 5 years
ruled,
ago.
Though.
It was.
Everyone thought that was great. I thought it was great. I thought the chair spot on Monday was great.
It was good. Yeah. I watched the chair bounce back, and that's when I knew it was going to get some good play. It was fun.
That shit looked awful to take, by the way. That's why, like, if he actually did get whiplash, like, I'd buy it because it looked like it sucked. So hopefully Xavier Woods is healing, unless he is working, and this is his explanation to explain why he took his birthday off, in which case, tremendous worker, Xavier Woods.
Speaking of whiplash, you saw the Nathan Frazier spot, too, where he ran the ropes at 100 miles an hour and got his
That was not a work. That
no,
sucked.
That looked like it sucked.
Yeah.
Finished the match. He went through. He seemed okay. I think he just kind of startled himself and maybe gave himself a little bit of a whiplash than anything else. We don't know if there's more to it, but yeah, he finished the match, and that was just the moment. It was just like, oh God, like you haven't seen that in forever. I haven't seen that since like Enzo took the bottom rope and knocked himself loopy at a pay-per-view. So it's good to see that he was okay.
Yes. That looked like it sucked. That looked like it really sucked. I'm glad he's able to continue the match. And I just don't even know how something like that happened. You're just going so fast that you just catch yourself like that. That looked awful though. But yes, fortunately he's okay.
It looks like it's just like where your body hits the rope, right? And because Nathan Frazier he's not super tall, but like I think his shoulders basically come across the top rope. And I think maybe just something happened that he went too fast and just kind of sprung back the wrong way. It's a very strange spot, but like if you go back and watch it, you don't need to like go step by step with it. But like you see, it's a very strange spot. But he looked like he rocked himself and he was more confused than anything else.
Let's talk about the biggest news of the week, Joel. We kind of touched on it at the end of the show on Monday because it just broke at the end of the show on Monday. The GOAT, John Cena, 7 weeks. 7 weeks, Joel. And this is why John Cena is the greatest of all time. The greatest of all time. Because he was going to come back. He's supposed to be on SmackDown this week and everything. He's working Superstar Spectacle. And then now he's announced for 7 weeks. You hear Dwayne. You hear Gewurz saying that Dwayne ain't showing up in WWE because of the writer's strike. And it looks bad for him if, like, he is still making money on WWE TV while all his friends and stuff, they're not getting new gigs because of the strike and things. So Dwayne can't do that. He doesn't want to do that. That looks bad. John Cena, meanwhile, he's like, you want me to show up? I'll show up. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to turn this into the positive. It's all Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish, we're going to host families and everything. We're going to bring them, hopefully not lose to Austin Theory as we bring out the Make-A-Wish kids. Dumb booking there. We're going to bring all the Make-A-Wish kids. And we're going to turn this all into a positive. So if anybody says anything like, why is John on WWE television? Why is he doing this when we're in a strike? John's like, this is all Make-A-Wish stuff. What do you want me to do? I'm out here fulfilling hopes and dreams. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then what John should be doing, he should have the SAG Open Challenge, baby. SAG Open Challenge. You want Vin Diesel, Ryan Reynolds, Who else is there?
Even
Who-
Amel's
who-
going to come up. Okay, that's the only person.
Amel?
And then
Who's the
CM,
Barbie?
and then
What-
CM
what-
Punk is going to show up, and it's going to be Stephen Amell and CM Punk versus John Cena and Vin Diesel.
Who's the Barbie? Jake
Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, Jake Gyllenhaal's not the Barbie. Ryan Gosling.
Oh,
is
Ryan
the Barbie.
Gosling. You're
Yeah.
right. They all look the same.
I was bringing in Jake Gyllenhaal because he got buried by Taylor Swift.
Ryan
Jake
Reynolds?
Gyllenhaal. I said Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Bring him. Hugh Jackman. Bring them all. Bring all. Yeah, Margot Robbie's the actual Barbie. I meant Ken. Bring all of these people to WWE and let John Cena, the SAG Open Challenge with Big Match John, baby. Let's go.
You know what I'd love to see once in my life? And by the way, shout out, Bob Barker passed this week as well. That was some sad wrestling adjacent news. 99 years old, crazy. He almost got the big showcase win, but no, God said we're gonna do 99 on this. So I want to see all of the former Raw guest hosts have a big battle royal. If they're still alive, they're invited to come, and somehow Jesse Jackson wins.
Would he win? I feel like who would win that?
I don't know. We'd have to go through. I mean, Hugh Jackman's pretty jacked.
Yeah, Jackman would fuck some people up.
Snoop would probably get real deep in that one.
Okay, so Batista was technically a guest host. That's tough. Shaq was a guest host.
Coming out of the back of the ambulance to make his entrance.
Snoop, undefeated at WrestleMania. WrestleMania legend Snoop Dogg was a guest host.
You've got what's his face? Oh my god, Floyd Mayweather is another one.
Mayweather, Mike Tyson,
Mark Cuban,
Steve Austin.
Oh,
was
yeah.
a guest host.
Wayne Brady could win this whole thing. That'd be good.
Oh no, Chris Jericho's winning this thing. He's putting himself over, brother.
Yeah, no, the guy under that is probably the one who would do it. Edge is gonna re-sign his contract, and he's gonna bring Christian in for one night. They were the last guest hosts.
Yeah,
oh man,
so there's been a lot of guest stars as well who could maybe throw in there too. Hugh Jackman was apparently listed as a guest star, not a guest host. I don't know how that works, but
Kevin Hart, he couldn't get tossed over. He's too small.
Johnny Knoxville should another WrestleMania legend.
Who else is here? Bill Simmons?
No.
No,
absolutely not. I'm not doing that. No.
What about Joe Manganiello? Oh my god.
Okay.
He could probably beat some asses.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen. Oh man. Yeah, Charlie Sheen would probably win this.
Aaron Paul was on this show?
Yeah, he did it was after Breaking Bad. It may have been when the next movie was coming out. Like not the
Need for Speed?
Was it Need for Speed? I may have been Need for Speed. I think it was when his next movie was coming out at the time.
Yeah, on March 3rd, 2014, he appeared on Raw to promote Need for Speed by entering the arena in a sports car.
Yep.
They got Aaron fucking Paul on this show shortly after Breaking Bad. Man, WWE does some shit. You gotta give them credit that they can get these people. This is what I'm saying. The SAG Open Challenge. Let's go.
I think we just successfully booked the next few weeks of Raw with John Cena.
SmackDown.
Oh, SmackDown too. K-Fed is another name that's on this list.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, have him come back and have John Cena get his win back on K-Fed.
SAG Open Challenge. I'm booking it. Let's go.
So John Cena is going to be Hershey, Denver, Glendale, Sacramento, St. Louis, Tulsa, San Antonio, Milwaukee, and of course going to India. Teaming with Seth Rollins, I think they said.
Yeah,
for the Superstar Spectacle against Imperium.
Yeah.
The hell is Jinder going to do at this show?
He's cornering at the very least into Sure, and that's for the so here's why they may have spoiled Kevin and Sammy winning on Saturday, because Into Sure is challenging Kevin and Sammy for the tag team titles at Superstar Spectacle. So unless they turn that into a non-title match, but I feel like the big draw is watch Into Sure in India challenge for the tag titles.
Card
I don't know.
subject to change, Jeremy Lambert. That's how this works.
I guess. I mean, maybe they just put the belts on in India on a show that we can't watch in America.
Let's go. I'm fine with that. Impact just announced that at Impact 1000, it's going to be Alex Shelley versus Trey Miguel for the world title.
Oh, good for them.
That's fun. They also announced the Feast or Fired match is coming back.
Yeah, I saw a lot.
Can't all be winners, Jeremy Lambert. Can't
That's
all be
something.
winners. Anyway, let's get out of here. We had a good show today, but we clearly just dragged it all the way down to the bottom with Feast or Fired. So feast or fire me with all your plugs. Don't fire me. Don't fire me.
I will.
Very hungry, Jeremy.
Watch the show. We're on the main channel on Monday following All Out. I'm sure that'll be a show to remember. Andrew Thompson's scheduled to join us on Friday from Post Wrestling. Watch all the other stuff we have going on for Fightful Overbooked. Appreciate all the super chats today, by the way. We had a bunch. And so I appreciate that. And thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the subs that Sean has thrown our way as well. Hopefully y'all have shown up and, you know, enjoy some of this fun stuff that we try to do.
Yeah. Keep trying to get into the content that we create because we are different. You know, we are overbooked and we are different voices that are on this this Fightful platform. So if you're new to us, welcome. It's good to see you, and we hope that you stick around. And again, I echo what Jeremy said. Thanks to the super chats and everything. Actually, we have one from Caden. Said, I survived the hurricane. Please stay safe, especially if you're in that path. Just you know, keep extra safety. Keep your kids and your pets inside. Just stay as safe as you can, please, please, please. Yeah, just thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to be back Friday. Jeremy already plugged that, so I'll just say it again. And then next Monday we'll be on the main channel to talk about our show because there's so much stuff to talk about. It's wrestling. Until then, I'm at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends of me on the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.